Let's open the lines here. Let's hear what South Africans say, because ultimately then the minister suggests that it's about attitude. 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. It appears to me that we can have all sorts of laws, we can have all sorts of rules and policies, but until we change the attitude on the road, we are not going anywhere slowly. 0891 104 208. Lots of SMSs. Amos in Durban, for instance, says, Minister, take action about fake foreign licenses manufactured in Clearwood, Durban. There are many Zimbabwean truck drivers using these fakes. That's Amos. Sianda says, Minister Ndebele has been champion of sober driving. Aggression leads to road carnages. Leaders, be political, religious, educational, must not drink and drive. Why taxis are not subsidized? If not, why? That's MK Sebotoma. Another one says there are lots of unroadworthy vehicles and authorities just turn a blind eye. Olisi Masilela Mhluzi says road accidents will only stop when people issued with licenses are trained intensively as pilots train drivers, etc. S'bu and KZN, the Department of Transport has no long-term vision. All we see from the minister are knee-jerk reactions after a big accident. That's S'bu and KZN. Louise Peterson says drivers in other countries adhere to the rules of the road. Taxis are a law unto themselves. And on Facebook, of course, also some people sending us their messages this morning. Budile says, please tell the minister to consider rail transport for the sake of innocent lives. We are not winning against reckless drivers, and that is a fact. Lusanda Fogaze says, always blah 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 from bureaucrats about traffic accidents, whatever changes. I suspect most bureaucrats are running their own morgues. That's why they are not interested in bringing down the death toll on our roads. That's Lusanda Fogaze. Buitimelo says, here is my comment to the minister. In Davung, Northwest Province, there is always no visibility of traffic officials. You can drive from Pretoria. You will only see them at Wolmaranstad, then furnished. At least their visibility means a lot to the nation, but not in my hometown. That's Buitumelo. Just a broad response, Minister, if you may, to some of these SMSs. Lots are coming through, by the way, at 34701. Of course, also you can post your comments on our Facebook page.
Yes, I think South Africans, let us look at this as a serious disease. We have been dealing with the issue of HIV and AIDS. There was a time when we sort of said, oh, it's caused by so and so, it's caused by the gods being angry, it's caused by this, is this individual, is this teacher, is this politician. But nobody opens your zip and tell you to do things without safeguarding yourself. And there is no one who can actually control you there. It's you. You are alone there. In a vehicle, it's much worse. You are alone. That's why for a youngster, those who are lucky enough to have parents who buy them cars for birthdays and so forth, when the kid drives out, it's actually freedom, because he can turn that car absolutely to any direction. You are free. You can go anywhere. It's completely under your control. That's a difference with the vehicle. The government, what the government does is to say, get a learner's license. These are the tests. Get a driver's license. These are the tests. You have passed. You have failed. Come again. And then 9.6 million people then have got these driver's licenses. Now, what they're going to do with them, it's a terrible thing. But let me say, without sounding gloomy, let me say that actually almost 85, if not 90% of these holders of driver's licenses in South Africa have not committed a single crime. You look within your family and ask how many people have got tickets. You'll find surprisingly very few. People who drive these buses here in Durban, you'll find others who have driven for 20 years without a ticket. Truck drivers that have been on the road every day as a matter of work, 15 years, not once a ticket. So that generally people behave. Then we have got, out of our 9.6 million people, we have got these 300,000 people who won't obey any law. Let us not exaggerate and say these are the many people. They are few, they commit many atrocities. And it is these tiny minority that we must deal with.
All right. Let's take some calls here, Minister. Start with Janos in Cape Town. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning to Colania, Mr. Minister.
Yes, one.
Mr. Minister, I'm from Poland. More than 7 million people died during and after the Second World War from the Germans and the Russians. So you say that the South African is the anger after the apartheid. It's a hitting below the belt again. But Mr. Minister, you cannot, I think, solve the problem. So you think trying to blame the apartheid for everything, as usually politicians do. Instead of solving the problems, please stop it. Don't do it again because it doesn't make any sense. Don't make any cheap propaganda. But to solve some of the problems, I will give you some tips. Release speed should be in the town 50 kilometers per hour. Instead of yellow line on the robots, get rid of this yellow line. Put like in Europe, the numbers should be only green and red. So when you will not pass on the yellow, a lot of accidents happen. Maybe you should go to the Europe and have change what's going there.
Okay, Janus, let me take some more callers. Thank you very much then for your call.
Can I respond to?
Yes.
Fortunately, I'm working very well with Poland. Poland has got one of the best road traffic acts, particularly because they come from this background of Nazi oppression and so forth, and it's one of the best programs that they have. And the gentleman is the last to deny that something happens to you once you are under fascism, oppressed, dehumanized. I'm saying we've dealt with this thing of apartheid, oppression, dehumanization as South African on a political side. On the social side, we have not. There's still a lot of aggressiveness in South Africans. Whether people are beating up children, their wives, and so forth, that aggressiveness for no reason at all. And sometimes it shows itself out there on the road. A person being so intolerant, so aggressive, for no reason at all, only to gain 30 seconds and 2 seconds and so forth. But is ready to kill somebody because he wants to be 2 seconds ahead. That is what I'm talking about. And it's a psychological fact. We are dealing with it, and people are going through that healing process as well as part of road safety, dealing with the road carnage and road aggression and road rage.
All right, Willie in Germiston, hello.
And how are you, man?
I'm all right, how are you?
Minister, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, Minister. Privileged to talk to you this morning.
Sure.
Go ahead, Willie.
All right. Tolani, there are so many factors contributing to the problem, but let me just comment on the attitude part of it. Right now, I was driving into the city center from Germiston. You understand? I'm talking the issue of intolerance and attitude. You understand?
Yeah.
I think South African drivers, we still think like when we are inside our vehicles, we are inside weapons. Because I can tell you, Minister, once I jump into my car, I feel somehow, I can point finger, I can do all lots of things that I can't do when I'm walking on the streets of Johannesburg on the pavement. And I think it comes from a fact that maybe we are still drunk with the sour milk of apartheid. We don't tolerate each other and understand. And Christ is not going to come down and help us on this. We need to work on it. And I think, Minister, I urge the law enforcers to look at even small little things. Because people think like if I skip a stop, you understand, it's a small little thing as long as I didn't kill anybody.
Okay, Willie.
Yes. So what I want to say is that, you see, when it comes to counting of vehicles, Minister, yes, we counted vehicles, we reached a target, but we need to look as to what action has been taken. Because surely we need to look more especially on driver behavior. I think that is one of the problems, you understand, that contribute to the road carnage.
Okay, Willie. All right, Willie is in Germiston. Let me read some SMSs again before I continue with more calls. Anton says, us South Africans have no road patience. Rush, rush, rush. Money, money, money. Taxis speed to be reduced to 80 kilometers. That's according to Anton. Another one says we can reduce road accidents by converting current drivers into owners of the taxis that they drive and have them making monthly repayments to their bosses. That's Tulani in KZN. Charles in Cape Town says if there's little to enforcement, of course, there won't be fines. If there's too little enforcement, I think it is, then there won't be any fines. That's according to Charles in Cape Town. Another one says traffic police should stop hiding and be visible. SAPS are championing visible policing, but traffic police seem to master elusive policing. Let me take Stuart in KWT. Hello, Stuart.
Good morning, Zolani, and good morning to the Minister.
Hi.
He knows me very well. We've discussed these sort of matters, over the benches many times in Parliament.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. I think the Minister is missing a very big issue here when he talks about, many of the issues about behavior, apartheid. If you put all these issues aside, we've got excellent laws in this country which control motorists, the vehicle conditions, etc., etc. And the bottom line is that if you look at the norms that are set internationally in terms of how many traffic officers we should have on our roads per capita, per number of vehicles, we fall very short of that. We estimate that there's about 6,000 traffic police that are missing. Now, you can't have laws and you can't have a situation arising where you don't have police enforcing those. Because we've got 25% more registration of new vehicles coming onto our road. We have new youngsters coming into the stream which are getting their licenses, and they pick up the same behavior as those of the past. The bottom line is, unless we have good enforcement 24/7 across our roads from city to city on all the national highways, and people know that they will not get away with this murder, then I'm afraid the behavior is going to continue. So I appeal to the Minister to take this into consideration. I've recently been called, Kulani, if I can just last point here, that there is a campaign out there which we are attempting to do in the Western Cape which involves civic society. If we have to use civic society, let's use it and ask them to come up and tell us and report into a call-free number to say these guys are misbehaving, they are moving across the lanes, they are driving with liquor, etc., etc. And then we can enforce the law more effectively.
Okay,
I appeal to the Minister to do that.